What is going on, Outfitters? Hopefully, you are having a very magnificent Monday today. It is the start of a new week, the first full trading week here in November. If we get some time, we'll look at some of the monthly charts, maybe some of these sectors. Actually, we'll probably just do that. Anyways, we will have elections in the U.S. Tuesday night, and then follow that up Wednesday with FOMC Day. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting next 72 hours, all the way up until Thursday morning. So buckle in, it's going to be a fun one. Anyways, SPY, not much happened over the weekend, so kind of not much for the market to kind of gap this morning. But yeah, you can see we just kind of had a flat open there compared to where we closed Friday. Nice little drop there, first 10 minutes. Nice little bounce off of that. Be interested to see if we're kind of trying to roll over here, possibly, over the past 45 minutes. So we'll see if that happens here over the next, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. We'll find that out. Qs, a little bit of a gap down. Not really anything big here either. Nice little trade lower. Currently up more than the SPY. SPY is up about 0.1%. Qs are up about 0.2%. So not too much kind of going on. And actually just taking a look at the Qs here, we have a little bit of a higher high over the past 45 minutes. So I would actually be willing to say that we probably will be moving higher as the day kind of goes on compared to the SPY. So there you go. IWM though, look at this move. Woo. Nice little gap down to start the day. Kind of got squirrely there. Got an upper wick first 5 minutes, second 5 minutes lower wick, and then just took off there that first hour. Just absolutely steamed higher. Past 30 minutes or so, not really doing too much, just kind of resting, I guess. But man, that first hour just took off. Currently up a little bit over 1% there. DIA, a little bit of a gap down, not doing too much here. Kind of looks like it wants to roll over. Currently down 1/3%. RSP, nice little gap up, nice trade higher the first hour or so. Currently up about 0.4%, but it has pulled back here over the past 40 minutes or so. Okay. As far as how the daily looks, ooh, yeah. Okay, so we got another, seems like consolidation type day coming in. Let's see what that 100 is at. Yeah, 100, we got a pretty good air pocket in here. So yeah, if we get through this stuff, obviously we're trying to hold support on that 50 EMA. Could be an interesting day, depending on where we close. Also, I mean, it's so tough right now because we have two major catalysts kind of coming up here over the next 2 days, with elections and FOMC on Wednesday. So, man, it's a tough one. I would say, I don't know if I'd be willing to take any positions before a possible big move. I would just be willing to say, hey, if we break something down, then I'll be looking for the retest and maybe taking it, or breaking out, taking it on the retest, going higher. But yeah, I just don't know about trying to get into a position on any kind of consolidation, just for the simple fact of next 2 days is going to be crazy. Yeah, we got that upper wick there that came in on Friday on the DIA, sitting right on top of that 50 EMA currently, looking like it wants to break down. Again, I kind of want to wait. And the IWM, basing off the 50 EMA, nice little bounce today, getting above the 10 and 20 moving averages as well. Okay. The Qs bounced off 50 EMA today. Could just be consolidating in here between these moving averages of the 10 and 20 and the 50. So, okay. And then we got the SPY, very, very small day today, kind of bouncing off its 50 EMA. Not really doing a whole lot there. All right. So let's just real quick, since we got a monthly close, kind of meant to do this late last week. What does, oh man, my SPY chart's so jacked. We got a nice little upper wick there on a monthly time frame on the SPY. Okay. I mean, doesn't really mean a whole lot. Not like we have a possible engulfing or anything like that. Nothing on the monthly candles that really says like, oh, that's a pretty big reversal. Now, I will say, if for the month of November, if we get below 560 and close the month of November below 560, that would be interesting. 'Cause that would look like a nice little evening star reversal pattern. So that would be interesting. Qs, yeah, Qs is an interesting one, right? Because we do have these lower highs compared to what we just saw for the SPY over the past several months with higher highs. So we do have somewhat of, that divergence that we've talked about before, that is now across quarters as well. So, okay. I not really too much to kind of see there. We also got lower highs across months here on the IWM. We've obviously made some attempts to run back up to these highs that we had back in July, but we haven't quite done it. It's just been really choppy over the past couple of months, but nothing really to kind of see there either. DIA, we don't really have a perfect engulfing. We got kind of close to back down to where September started, but we didn't get there. So I think right now, if we get November that closes below the open of August or the open of September, I think that would be a much more meaningful signal on a monthly time frame. RSP, yeah, not really doing a whole lot right now, but yeah, you can see it almost got back down to its opening of September as well there for October close. So I would say November is going to be a pretty important month, just because we just saw a lot of upper wicks across a lot of these sectors, a lot of these different market ETFs. So there you go. As for the VIX, we had a little bit of a higher open to start Monday, but we're trading higher. VIX falling off, not really doing a whole lot. Yeah, I think mostly the music's going to come probably Wednesday, most likely, because we'll probably get a pretty good sense of election results in the U.S., and we're also going to get FOMC day. So Wednesday is going to be a crazy day, but that'd probably be the day. If you're going to pay attention to any day this week, it's probably going to be that day. Dollar DXY, look at that move. Dropping off. Wow. Okay, so we had that nice bounce on Friday. Let me take a look in the dollar. So we actually just had a super strong gap down that is not really showing here. Okay, interesting. So we actually gapped down at around the 103.95 area. Okay. So 103.95. So basically right on top of that 10 EMA is about where we gapped to. It's kind of where we opened on this trading day, which was, open on Sunday. So that's rather interesting. Anyways, dollar index. You can see that gap down. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Don't know why it gapped down as much as it did. Anyways, it is a pretty good gap down. Maybe we're just gonna consolidate down here a little bit longer. Maybe people felt like I don't know, felt like they needed to kind of move out of dollars as we go into a pretty important week here for obviously the U.S. with elections and FOMC. It's an interesting one. Take a look at that here over the next couple of days, see what happens. But I don't know if it's really changing anything right now. As far as the GLD Gold Trust, yeah, kind of consolidating around top of that 10 EMA. Not really too much kind of going on here. I would still just rather be bullish on any kind of pullbacks. Yeah, same. So, kind of like the DXY here on the 10-year yield, we also have this big gap down as well. So, I'd just say dollar and yields are probably not going to be going higher here over the next day or two, maybe even this week, honestly. They might move a little bit higher, but I wouldn't expect them to be taking out the highs of last week. That gap down kind of just says, like, yeah, all these people just got suckered in But we're right on top of that 10 EMA on the 10-year yield, so it doesn't really say. It's not really like, yeah, we're breaking down. I mean, we could definitely break down, but it's also like we just had a really strong October on yields and dollars, so pulling back a little bit kind of makes sense, honestly. Anyways, 10 and 2 inversion. These also kind of gap down, which is interesting. So not all the yields gap down the same amount. Anyways, not really doing a whole lot. Still just kind of consolidating sideways here the past couple of weeks. As far as bonds, I'm going to be pretty honest. Probably going to have some pretty good gap ups on bonds, right? We just saw the yields had pretty good gap downs. So the HYG had that breakdown second half of last week and didn't quite get to that 100 moving average, but it did gap up. So it's going to have to fight through, obviously, the support and resistance level that it kind of put in here around the 79.1 79.2 zone. And if it can do that, then, yeah, you're probably going to be looking for a trade higher. But it's also going to have all these moving averages. So I think right now, if you're looking to play HYG, honestly, I kind of might dig it because this might give you that move of multi-day consolidation before we possibly break down again in the future. LQD, possibly the same kind of deal. We might move a little bit higher, have a multi-day consolidation and a breakdown later on. I think that might be what you might be looking for because that was kind of what we had talked about earlier in October about seeing like a multi-day kind of rollover. So if you can get that look here over the next couple weeks, I think you might be willing to take that bearish. But yeah, nice gap ups on bond prices today. I think the thing you're gonna want to see is probably just a move higher. I think we probably will move higher, which means we'll probably see yields drop off a little bit. But I don't think it's gonna be a huge reversal. So we're gonna go back up here on the TLT at least. Back up to like 100 or anything like that. Not in my opinion. I mean, that was a pretty good drop off, halfway, second half of September through October there, or at least on the TLT. So. Alrighty, sector rotation on the day. Utilities dropping off. Financials also underperforming pretty good. Healthcare underperforming. Communications underperforming. Staples kind of in line with the market right now. Industrials, discretionaries outperforming a little bit. Tech, materials, real estate kind of outperforming pretty good. Energy is looking pretty good on the day. And we got, what do we got here? As far as intraday price action, so we got energies that are still leading the day, even on the intraday, so that's looking pretty good. And you got discretionaries also doing pretty good. Real estate, tech, outperforming on the during the day. Industrials, slight outperformance during the day. Materials underperforming though. Communications, staples underperforming a little bit there. And you got healthcare, utilities, financials at the lower end of the intraday price action. Okay. So real quick, when I just brought up the headlines, I just saw this. Constellation stock plummets after Amazon power deal blocked. And I would be much more willing to probably be getting seg. There it is. Probably be dip buying on any utilities that probably got hit off of that news. And that's just kind of my opinion. Let me bring up utilities over here. Dude, let's go. So you can see SEG getting hit pretty good. PEG also getting hit. Vistra getting hit. So those three are probably much more hit on the nuclear side. because that's what kind of got hit on a potential power deal, right? Is reopening that 3 Mile Island. I believe it was 3 Mile Island, but if it wasn't, it was just some other nuclear reactor. Anyways, that's that's probably not the end of that story. I'm sure that there will probably be like, okay, why can't we do it? What do we need to upgrade? All that kind of stuff. So I think as far as getting in on dip buying opportunity on some of these nuclear utility type companies would be probably really smart. They did have earnings this morning, which is really weird. Typically, we don't have Monday morning earnings, or not a lot of companies. But we did have CEG have Monday morning earnings. You can see they beat on revenue, pretty good amount by 14.5%. Earnings, straight earnings, they beat by about 3%. Let me see here. Okay. We don't have a whole lot of growth going forward, but earnings look pretty solid, especially compared to where they were over the past year and a half, 2 years. Looking pretty good. I would be much more willing to be like, yeah, you know what? This is going to be some pretty solid pullbacks. Probably not done going lower. Probably will see us continue to drop off. Interact maybe with this 100. Possibly gap fill all the way back to September 19th. I would be looking for that as well. So if we start to get into that 100, and I'm not saying right here is not a good spot to possibly be getting in. You just got a 10% discount. I think nuclear will be a very important place going forward, and if energy prices really, especially like utility energy prices, really start shooting up, politicians will have to, they will have to do something, or people will be pissed off, and that's kind of what you don't want. You don't want people pissed off. And anyways, so they'll put pressure on regulatory agencies to, hey, let's get some of these things done. And so yeah, probably dip buying here on this discount that you're getting today is not a bad idea. Probably also putting in some orders around that 100 moving average, and then probably getting some at the gap fill all the way back to September 19th. Probably makes a lot of sense around 208. And if you're thinking that you can maybe get it back down at the 200 as well, I mean, you got 4 pretty good spots you can be getting in, because that 200 moving average is also sitting right on top of these highs that we had back here. So pretty good spots along the way. If we continue to pull back, I think you're gonna be looking good on getting some of that. I really do. I like it. Anyways, that was just something I saw when I brought up the headlines here. But what else we got? U.S. agency ends investigation to Ford engine failures after recall and warranty extension. Okay. Why banks are probably... I don't care. DJT breaks for another volatile week. Oh, yeah. If you like trading, DJT probably not going to be a bad way to be playing the week, as, that is a political candidate's own social media platform. So I'm sure they will be getting a lot of volatility, no matter how the elections kind of go. Anyways, Wall Street is counting on Powell to keep Fed cuts on track. Dow slips a stocks waiver and run up to election day. Palantir earnings provide lithium litmus tests for 140% AI fueled rally. Nvidia leads surge in market cap amid AI chip demand. Yeah, let me bring up Nvidia. Nvidia. Let me get rid of the 100, 200 here. There we go. We got a nice little gap up 2.3%. Pretty solid move. When are we going to have earnings? We are going to have earnings in, was that 2 weeks? 2 weeks on that Wednesday. So yeah, we got NVIDIA earnings coming up. That'll be a big deal. Obviously, the king of AI right now. Would not bet against them. Um, Berkshire. Did they have earnings today? 'Cause they don't move that much, like ever. They did have. Well, no, they had earnings Friday. Okay, so they had earnings Friday. So Berkshire barely beat on revenue. Had a little bit of a loss there on earnings. Interesting. I mean, it's Berkshire. If you can get in, I mean, why not snag some shares, right? It's Berkshire. They're a really good job at risk management. That's their main, I would say that's the main thing of why you want to own Berkshire. Very good job at risk management. Let's see, Wells Fargo down a little bit. Bank of America. Okay. I'm not going to go through, except for Micron. Hold on. Micron, nice little gap up today. Still like to be bullish there. Anyways, I'm going to run through some of these financials. So Goldman Sachs, Citi, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, all kind of down a little bit today. Interesting. Okay, so Goldman Sachs doesn't look horrible. We do have what looks like some kind of support level there and declining highs here. So we are about to figure out which way this thing's going to wind up popping out of here. If we don't break this down and maybe we just continue to move sideways like this, I'd be looking for the higher play. That's supposed to be an arrow. So, honestly, I'd probably just be willing to be bullish unless we have this breakdown. And then you say, okay, it's not working. All right. Anyways, Citi. Nice little gap down. They paid a dividend, so it might just be a dividend gap. 56 cents, yeah. And they're down 76 cents. They paid a dividend of 56 cents. So it's about like a 20-cent gap down, roughly. That's about where they are, where the open is. So, all right. Citi, JP Morgan. Ooh, a lot of days in here at a previous high. Kind of looks like it wants to break down. Okay. I would say if you're gonna look to play this, I would be saying if you break that 20 moving average down, you're probably just gonna be looking for a move down to that 50 EMA, which is kind of about where these tops were, and probably looking to play it bullish off of that. If it winds up not breaking down and starts to get back up, I wouldn't want to play that unless it broke out and take it on a quick retest higher. But yeah, that'd be about the only way I'd play it. Breakdown, play it off the 50 EMA. All right, what else we got? Bank of America and Wells Fargo. Bank of America pulling back some. I would say let it pull back till it gets to about its 50 EMA. It's kind of where these two tops were. It's probably it's probably how I'd do that. Wells Fargo. Ooh, Wells Fargo had a good run after its earnings. Yeah, so it had a nice little gap up, nice run from its earnings. Ooh, I would say it's going to break down that 20 moving average. Might not be a massive breakdown because we got some different highs here. So it might not make it to that 50 EMA unless it makes it to these highs, these triple highs from like July here over the next maybe like 2-3 weeks. And we're going to have a dividend coming up actually here this Friday, 40-cent dividend, which is, if it that would be back down to the low of today at today's price. So that could be a sneaky, dangerous dividend. Obviously, it won't be at this price when we get there on Thursday's close, but because I mean we're gonna have so much stuff between now and then, so we'll be somewhere not here. But anyways, just keep in mind that dividend because that could be sneaky dangerous. So like if we're back down somewhere around the lower ends of today or something, or maybe when we break down by Thursday's close, you can possibly be looking for a play off that dividend gap on Friday. Anyways, Wells Fargo's your jam. I would be just mindful of Friday. That's about the main thing. Other than that, I'm not going to go through a whole lot today, mostly because, well, we're going to have quite a bit to look at. Probably tomorrow and Wednesday. Wednesday will be a day. Wednesday and Thursday will be days. Intel. Let me look at Intel. So Intel came out. Apparently, there was a report that came out that there could possibly be some merger here, and yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be too shocked if you do see Intel have a merger going forward. Man, dude, you just got to figure out what the heck they're doing. I have no idea what they're doing, what their business plan is. That's the problem. Like nobody knows what their business plan. Like, what are y'all trying to be good at? Anyways, you could definitely play this for a merger play going forward. I wouldn't be surprised if sometime over the next year you probably see Intel have some kind of merger deal. Anyways, Alpha Hunters, I'll leave it there. We did see a little bit of a pop or move higher on the market, but over the past 10 minutes, it definitely came right back down. Yeah. Interesting. So, Qs are trying to lead us higher, SPY's trying to lead us lower. Usually in that scenario, we will see the Qs wind up going in the direction of the SPY will go in the direction of the Qs, but doesn't mean it has to happen that way. It doesn't matter. I mean, we're going to have a lot of volatility tomorrow through Wednesday. Probably tomorrow through Thursday. A lot of people digest things that happen on Tuesday and Wednesday. So, Alpha Hunters, have a great rest of your day. We will see what happens the rest of this week. Alrighty. Take care.